There we go. Couldn't figure out how you could see me. Hi, everyone. It's Grace. So happy to see all of you. At 3 o'clock, in a few more minutes, I'm going to start reading the Shabbat box to you. But right now, I want to know how are you all doing? What's happening? Everything, everybody trying to find something good about what's happening here in our world. I'm happy. I don't have shoes on. That makes me happy. I'm happy the sun's out because I've been doing a lot of walking outside, and so when I'm done today, after I read this story, I'm going to go take a walk, and I'm looking forward to that. So, how's everybody there? How's everybody doing? I see Arbel's there. Hi, Arbel. Can you see me? Am I doing this right? All right. Hope everybody's doing well. I start to see people are tuning in. Hope that lots of people will be on. And thanks, Arbel. I feel better knowing that this is working. I'm very excited about being here. I've learned a lot over the days. I've learned, hi, Juliet. I've learned a lot about Facebook. People have taught me so much. I'm learning a lot about the internet while I'm home. Zoom calls and all that kind of things. So learning a lot. I'm happy to be doing that. I'm reading a lot, exercising a lot. I did Pilates this morning with Debbie from the JCC. If everyone hasn't tuned in to the exercise classes, go ahead. They're great. Bobby's been on there. I know that some of you have seen Bobby. He's doing great as well. So it is 3 o'clock. So I'm going to start. I'm going to start by telling you I'm here in my kitchen. I don't know how much of it you can see, but I'm here in my kitchen. It's my happy place. There's lots of light in here. The sun is shining, and it's just nice place for me to transmit this from. So hope that you can all see me. Samara, did you do Pilates too? It was great, right? Debbie's great. What the JCC is doing is so amazing. All these videos, all this contact, it's helping me get through all of this. So hope all of you are well. All my friends, miss you all. This is a difficult time for all of us. We miss all being together at the GCC and look forward to seeing everybody soon. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to be reading the Shabbat box, which is one of my favorite stories. And I want to tell you that I have a very special story after I read the book. So don't get off the video after I read the book. I have a lot to tell you. I have a story after this. And I have also a way to show you how you can make your own Shabbat box. Okay, and so I have a little bit of that here. So I actually put together my own Shabbat box, just a little newspaper, and around the sides I put some Hebrew letters and a person that's doing a mitzvah, and some 4 Hebrew letters, some Shabbat candlesticks. So I just decorated a shoebox, and that became my Shabbat box. And so inside, which I'm going to put up here so you can all see it as I read the story, we have a Kiddush cup, which we need. Okay. If you can all see that. Let me see how I can make that so you can see it. Kiddush cup. And I have candlesticks from Israel. 1 and 2 and there. And then I have a Shabbat Shalom challah cover, which actually, if you can see at the bottom here, I don't know if you can see that, says JCC 2007. And I think this was made by my camp counselors one summer. And it's really pretty. And I'm going to show you how you too can make something like that after we're done reading the story. So, I'm going to, I don't have any challah. So I put something under here so it looked like there was a challah, but I don't have challah. So I'm so sad. I bet Yitzi's missing sending all the challahs to the JCC. So I'm going to read the Shabbat box. It's a PJ Library book. I'm sure a lot of you know it. It's one of my favorite stories. But don't forget, when I'm done, I have a really special story to tell you about the Shabbat box. So stay tuned for that. And then don't forget, we're going to have some time where we're going to make our own Shabbat box. So stay tuned to that also. Okay, so this is the Shabbat box. And I'm going to try to make sure that you can all see it as I turn the pages, all right? Okay, so first page, can you all see that? All right. Every Friday, someone got to take home the Shabbat box. Lots of our classes have Shabbat boxes or things that you get to take home for Shabbat. So this is what they did in their school. It was a Shabbat box covered in velvet with Shabbat written in Hebrew letters. Inside there were candlesticks, a Kiddush cup, and a challah cover. Each week the teacher added fresh challah rolls with raisins. Everyone loved the box. There was only one problem. There was only one box. And there were 14 kids in the class. There was Eli and Sarah and Noah and Rachel and Sophie and Zachary and Sam and Rose and Ruth and Ira and Naomi and Julia and Rafi and Miriam. Can you see all of them standing in front of the school bus? So lots of people there. All right, next page. The rule was 1 turn per customer, and that meant Ira would have to wait until winter for his turn. How long until winter? He asked his mother. After the leaves fall off the trees and snow comes, she answered. No, we're just done with winter. It just became springtime, right? Next page. How long will that be? Asked Ira. About 14 weeks, said his mom. How long is 14 weeks? He asked. About 98 sleeps, his mom explained. 98 sleeps? That feels like forever, said Ira. Next page. After many, many sleeps, winter arrives, and it was finally Ira's turn. He put the Shabbat box in his knapsack and started walking home. But that Friday was a bad snowstorm. We haven't had too many of those, right? The wind whipped his face. His eyes were so cold they felt like popsicles. His feet got soaked from snow falling into his boots. Wow, look at all that snow. We didn't have a lot of that this year, right? Next page. When he finally made it home, he was shivering. Inside, the air was nice and warm. His dad was making honey chicken. There was pea soup with noodles bubbling on the stove, and he could smell a chocolate cake baking in the oven. Ira took off his knapsack. In the storm, the flaps had opened, and the Shabbat box had fallen out. His lips trembled. He began to cry. "What's wrong?" asked his dad. "The Shabbat box, it's gone," he sobbed. "What can I do?" Oh, you can imagine how he was feeling. Next page. They went outside to look for it. Their eyes stung, and they couldn't see through the blowing snow. Cars were sliding and people were slipping on the ice. "We'd better go back inside," his dad said. Uh-oh, did they find the Shabbat box? Nope, they didn't. What's going to happen next? Ira began sobbing again. "There is only one Shabbat box, and I have lost it, and I'm going to be in big trouble." He didn't want to eat the soup, or the chicken, or even the chocolate cake. Oh, you know how Grace loves chocolate. "How do you think we can solve this?" his mother asked. Ira thought. He thought so much, his head hurt. He felt miserable. Can you all imagine how he was feeling? Boy, did anything like that ever happen to you? I think he was feeling really bad and really responsible for losing it. Next page. Saturday afternoon, he was lying on his bed. He saw the empty box from the snow boots. "I know what I'm going to do," he whispered to his stuffed animals. "I will make a new Shabbat box. It will be a surprise." What a great surprise! After Havdalah, he put a "Do Not Enter" sign on the bedroom door. He took his art kit and big camping flashlight down from his closet. He pulled out the box. Wow. This was a good idea. What do you think he's going to do with that box from his snow boots? What do you think? Do you have any ideas what he could do? Well, let's see. Next page, he decorated with purple velvet and shiny sparkles. Remember, the original box had purple velvet. I looked for purple velvet, but I didn't have any, so I just used some paper, which you could do also, unless you have purple velvet. He turned his plasticine snakes into candlesticks. I didn't know what that was when I read that. But look, if you see the picture, you can see the snakes. You see the snakes that he made into candlesticks? Well, that was pretty smart, right? He made a memory game with pictures of challahs and candlesticks, wine cups, and people singing. That was pretty smart. He painted grapes on his water cup and turned it into a Kiddush cup. As I said, stay tuned later and we're going to see how we can make our own Kiddush cup. He painted his pillowcase and turned it into a giant challah cover. How smart to use his pillowcase. But I'm not suggesting that you guys do that. Maybe we can find an alternative to your pillowcase. So those were good ideas, right? Ira was pretty smart. He had really thought up a solution for himself. Next page. He stayed up all night painting, pasting, and designing everything. He worked by flashlight under the covers of his bed. Did you ever do that? Use a flashlight under your covers? That's fun to do. By the time he went to sleep, it was almost morning. On Sunday, he put lollipops and taffy and hard candies and chocolates into the box because we all know Shabbat is really sweet. That's really important, right? I don't think that they had candy in the original box. Do you? But I think that was a good idea. He was making a really special Shabbat box. He wrapped the box in plastic in case it fell into a snowbank again. He was being really careful. So there you see his new box. It was a pretty good idea that Ira had to make this box, don't you think? I think he was pretty smart. Monday was his turn for show and tell. As he unwrapped the box, the kids gathered around him. Just like we do at meeting time. And sometimes we also have that special time where we have show and tell or sharing in our classrooms, right? He told them the story of how he lost the box in the snow and how he tried to find it. He told them how upset he was, but he left out the part about crying. Why do you think he didn't want to tell his friends that he was crying? Well, it says here, because he didn't want them to think he was a baby. Then he told them how he made a new Shabbat box for the class. He took a deep breath. Oh, everybody take a deep breath. That feels good. That's something I've been doing a lot lately, taking a deep breath with all that's happening, right? I hope you like it, Ira said. He opened the lid like we did on the Shabbat box I made. We opened the lid, right? Everyone looked inside. All the kids were jumping up and down, saying they wanted to take Ira's box home and eat the sweets and play the memory game and try out the cool candlesticks. Everyone take a minute and jump up and down, jump up and down, jump up and down. That's a fun thing to do. We've been in the house a lot, so jumping up and down is a fun thing to do, right? Then the teacher said, I have something for show and tell too. But Rachel protested and she said, but show and tell is for the kids, not for the teacher. Well, let's see what the teacher has for her show and tell. Can anybody guess what it might be? Can anyone guess what she might be telling the children? Whoa, I had no idea when I first read this book, but I've read it, so now I know what happens. Let's see what the teacher had to say. Last Friday, the day of the storm, I forgot my mittens, the teacher said. So what do you think she did? So I went back to school to look for them because my hands were freezing. And guess what? I saw something peeking out of the snow. She took a slightly crumpled box out of the cupboard. What do you think it was? What do you think? It was the Shabbat box. The bad news is that the challah rolls were soggy. We wouldn't want to eat them, said the teacher. But the good news is that the box dried. Now we have not one, but 2 Shabbat boxes, said Ira. And I only have 49 more sleeps until my next turn. So there he is with the 2 boxes, and he can't wait for his next turn to have the Shabbat box. That's the end of the Shabbat box. But remember, I told you to stay tuned because I have another story. You are just not going to believe this story. I, to this day, cannot believe that this actually happened. So listen to this. So we had, in some of the classes, we have Shabbat boxes. And the Shabbat box would come with the candlesticks and the Kiddush cup and the challah cover, all the things that family would need to celebrate Shabbat. And the child would take it home on Friday, just like in the story. So this one day, many years ago, one of the boys, we'll say his name was John, took home the Shabbat box. He was so excited. And something special in that Shabbat box was not only a book about Shabbat, but a special book where the children would write in the book about their Shabbat experience. They would also have a Shabbat bear in the book and in the box. And they would tell about the experience that the Shabbat bear had over the weekend while they were visiting with them in their house. So the boy went home and he was playing outside and went inside, and the next morning he woke up, and just like in the story, there was a major snowstorm. Major. And now they were ready to write about their Shabbat on Saturday night, about the Shabbat that they had with their family in their home. And they started to look for the Shabbat box. And guess what? They couldn't find it anywhere. They looked in his room. They looked in the kitchen. They looked in the dining room. They looked in the living room. They just couldn't find it anywhere. Where was the Shabbat box? Do you know where it was? Well, John couldn't find it anywhere. And unlike Ira in the Shabbat box story, he did not make a new box. He went back to school on Monday and he had to tell the teacher that he couldn't find the Shabbat box. And the teacher said, okay, take all week and try to find the Shabbat box. You have until Friday until it's Shabbat again, and another family will be taking home the Shabbat box. But guess what? Friday came. He couldn't find the box. They continued to look all over the house, and they couldn't find it anywhere. And they continued the next week and the next week, and they couldn't find it. Do you know where it was? Well, the end of the story is they didn't find the box until winter was over, like now, and it was spring, and all the snow finally melted. And guess where the box was? It was in his backyard. He had been playing with it when he came home from school. He went inside for Shabbat, and the next morning he woke up, it had snowed, and it snowed and buried the Shabbat box. So he didn't find the Shabbat box until it was spring. And that is a true story that actually happened in a JCC classroom. And how funny is that? It's so much like the story, the Shabbat box. And I always think that's so funny when I read that book and I think about John, who also lost his Shabbat box. So those are my two stories. And now the last part about what we're going to do today is I would love for you all to have a Shabbat box that you made yourself. So I have some ideas of how to do that. You may have other ideas, but I have some ideas of how to do that. So as I said, you can take a shoe box like this and just decorate it with all kinds of things on it. So that's one thing. So we have a Shabbat box. The next thing that you can do is you can take a cup like this and you can decorate it. So I have some stickers here. Maybe you have some stickers at home. They don't really have anything to do with Shabbat, but there are some good stickers. Here's a sticker of an ice cream, and I'm going to put that over there. And here's a sticker of a delicious looking cupcake, and I'm going to put that over there. And here's a sticker of a lollipop. And I'm going to put that over here. So I've decorated my cup. And then you can also take a Sharpie and you can also write on it. So I'm going to write on this. I'm going to write Shabbat, S-H-A-B-B-A-T. So Shabbat, I don't know if you can see that. And then I'm going to write Shalom. Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom. So there's my Kiddush cup. So that's one thing we made. So here's my real Kiddush cup and the Kiddush cup I made from my Shabbat box. And then I have this beautiful, I don't know if you can see it, Shabbat Shalom challah cover. And as I said before, as you can see, it says JCC 2007. It's a handkerchief with some lace around it that's been glued on with a hot gum. I think that counselors made that for me in camp one year. So I love that and I cherish it and I use it every Friday. So you may not have a handkerchief at home, and as we said, the boy in the box used his pillowcase. I'm not sure that's such a good idea, but here's what I did. I took just a plain white napkin that I had at home that I used for dinner, and you may have one of these at home too. And I'm going to open it up, and then you could paint on this, or you could also write on it. Be very careful because it's delicate. But so that's a suggestion. You may have something else at home that you could use for a Shabbat Shalom challah cover. So now we made our Kiddush cup, we made our challah cover. One thing is left. We need something for our candles, right? So yesterday I made this ball of salt dough. Do you all see it? There's my salt dough. And it's a very, very easy recipe. I've written it down for you so that you could see. It is 1 cup of flour, a half a cup of salt, and a half a cup of water. And you just mix it together. I think everybody probably has that at home. So that's the salt dough. And then you make it into a ball. You may have to take a little time to get that into a nice ball. And then you can take it and divide it into 2 balls, because we have 2 candlesticks, and take it and make a ball like that. And I'm going to rub it around like that. I'm going to really work hard to get it to be a good ball. And this is the way the counselors also made these candlesticks for me. And I'm going to make it into a ball. And here's how they did it so simply. There's my ball. Everybody see it? And now I'm going to put it in front here so you can see it. I'm going to take one of my candles, my Shabbat candles. I'm going to stick it into the ball all the way down like that. And voila, look at that. I have a Shabbat holder for my Shabbat candle. Isn't that great? And it's still soft now, but tomorrow it will get all hard. And then again, you could decorate it. You could decorate it with magic markers or paint or whatever you want. And then you'll have your very own candle holders. I just want to say, I don't think that you should light the candles in there. Just pretend it's just to put in your Shabbat box. And then you could have a dramatic play area in your house and you could pretend it's Shabbat whenever you want. Well, that is the end of my Shabbat time with you. I'm so happy I got to share some time with you. I miss you all so much, and I wish I could be with you. And I hope that you are all finding something good about being at home, enjoying being with your family, like me, enjoying not wearing shoes, having my socks on, walking outside in this beautiful weather. I hope that you all are okay and well, and I hope to see you real soon. Thanks so much for letting me come into your home. I hope you enjoyed being in mine, and I hope to see you real soon. Love you all. Bye.